Control.
Your on-air automotive magazine with co-hosts Fred Staub and Les Jackson.
Control.
Everything you need to know about new and used cars.
Control.
Industry news. We'll fix or repair your car on the air.
Control.
Fasten your seatbelts and let us take the wheel. Now, your ride is about to begin
Control.
because you're on cruise control. Cruise control. Cruise control.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Cruise Control, your on-air automotive magazine. Of course, you know who we are. I'm Les Jackson, and the other guy you know very well is Fred Staub. We are splitting for the coast today.
Yeah, I guess so. I guess that's a good way to put it, Les. Seems like LA had quite the auto show. They had a lot of reveals.
Quite a
didn't
show.
They? Yeah. And we're going to go through those reveals. Matter of fact, welcome to a special edition of Cruise Control where we go over all the action from the week at the LA Auto Show, including two affordable EVs. Can you imagine that?
Wow.
Yeah, we're talking EV.
You didn't use the word cheap. You just said affordable.
Well, there's like a trend. People are finally seeing, like, why don't people want EVs? Well, they're $80,000. So
That's right.
Kia has brought out two of them.
Exactly. And Cadillac now has plans for 4 EV models thanks to the new Optique, which is kind of neat looking. I again, looks Range Rover-ish. I don't know why I'm stuck on this, but I keep noticing it.
Sort of Evoque-like. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
And this, too, is supposedly a less expensive EV. Catch the trend there, Les?
I'm catching it.
Yeah. And over at Hyundai, they went boxy. Also Range Rover-ish, isn't it?
I'm sorry. This is not made up. They look Range Rovers. It's that whole high-end off-road look.
Yeah, exactly. I agree. And over at Ford, this is something we'll talk about because I know some people crank their Bluetooth audio up in their car and you can hear them down the block when they're having a phone call. But talking tech, Ford has a plan to prevent your Bluetooth calls from being overheard in the parking lot. But are they and other manufacturers listening in themselves? Well, there was an interesting court case about that.
Well, yes. Plus, why right turn on red may soon be retired. We've been sort of teasing this for quite a while.
Yeah, we sure have.
Yep.
I don't know. We can kick it around and see what you think as well. On Cruise Control, your on-air automotive magazine. That's the show that you are dialed into, and we're glad you're here. Don't forget to check us out on our social media outlets, Facebook and YouTube and more. So a lot going on there. I'm Fred Staub. He is Les Jackson. We have a lot to get to. We're going to show you and talk about a lot of new vehicles. So stay tuned to Cruise Control, your on-air automotive magazine.
Okay.
Cruise Control.
And welcome back to Cruise Control, your on-air automotive magazine. Fred Staub and Les Jackson with you. We're going to talk about sort of an oxymoron, or a unicorn, I'll call it, and that would be affordable EVs. Les?
Yes. Well, yes.
So this week at the LA Auto Show, Kia revealed a couple of concepts, the EV3 and EV4. First one up is the EV4. And the idea is to accelerate the art of electric mobility. I didn't write that.
Okay. It doesn't have door handles. So
it does have side view mirrors.
It does have side view mirrors, and it could be electric door openings.
And then the
so
EV3
yeah,
is more of a kind of an upright SUV sort of crossover.
Same sort of wheels. Very, very modern wheels.
Yes, very modern wheels. And
yeah.
These are concepts still, but I believe we will see these things in the near future from Kia. And I tell you what, I still say Kia has the ability to be a huge player in the electric world. Their designs are great. They're interesting. They come well equipped, like all of their cars. Big thing that's happening is these oval steering wheels. They're almost a square.
Yeah.
I don't really get that. I guess it's this to see the screen, but who knows? But
I think it's kind of preparing people, aside from looking, super futuristic, for preparing people to let the vehicles steer themselves on the road.
That's a ways off, though. You and I know that.
Well,
right?
Except with steering assist, you get a lot of it on the highway.
Yeah.
So, but overall, and by the way, I just have to read this. The cocoon-like interior of the EV4 features a sleek and spacious horizontal layout. But the control panel is neatly stored in the center console when not in use. I like that.
Yeah, that's cool. We've heard other manufacturers talking about that. I think they're very chunky looking, and to your point, yes, a little bit Range Rover-ish. I do like the chunkiness, though. It's kind of like a Hot Wheel toy, isn't it?
It is a bit Hot Wheelie, but I think everything is going that way, for the next few years. The trends are always like 5-6 years in the auto industry, always have been.
Yeah.
And so, I think it'd be interesting to see what they come up with in real life.
Yeah, and I do think that what we're seeing and what we're hearing about, what we're talking about, you can check it out on our Facebook page, by the way. We have a few photos. I believe that is, it never gets wasted these days. It will be used. Right. It will be cut into some vehicle, right?
Yeah, nobody can afford to do concepts strictly for the purpose of concepts anymore.
I want to play trivia here. There was a car in the 60s that had a square steering wheel like that, kind of a rounded square. I remember seeing it. I don't know whether it was a production car. I kind of think it was a production car. And I want to say Chrysler. It may have been...
I believe it was a Chrysler. I believe it was an Imperial.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm almost positive it was an Imperial. It was not the turbine car.
That's what I was going to say. Was it the turbine car?
Well, but everything about the turbine car was round. Turbine.
Gotcha.
I think it was the Imperial. I think I rode in one. Whatever one it was, I think I rode in it once.
Well, we don't have too much information on this vehicle, but it is from Cadillac. Cadillac's got 4 vehicles coming out now, electric vehicles, including the Lyriq, the Celestiq, which is the bespoke vehicle. I like saying that so it annoys you. But this is going to be their entry level electric vehicle, and it's called the Optique. That's kind of all we know about it. We don't know range.
That's
We
about
don't.
it.
Yeah, it's a good looking vehicle, though.
It is. It looks very contemporary, and yet at the same time, a little forward.
Yeah.
And if it's in the, I'm not going to say low price, but if it's in, say, the mid 30s, it could be a real winner.
Yeah, I think it will probably be more like in the 50s. That's low price now, but we'll have more when we come back on Cruise Control, your on-air automotive magazine.
Cruise Control.
Hello and
welcome
welcome.
back.
Welcome back.
Welcome, Fred.
Yes. We have. Why don't you take it, Les? Because this is a vehicle
Okay.
that it
Well,
proves your point.
Yes, it proves my point. The Hyundai Santa Fe, the new 2024, of course, was revealed, and it's wider. Everything's bigger, by the way. Keeps getting bigger.
Yeah.
But nonetheless, Hyundai is a great company,
Mm-hmm.
and they screw vehicles together very, very well.
Yeah,
They're
they
quite
use
reliable.
all the fasteners.
Yeah, they're all proper fasteners. Anyway, the Santa Fe, which I have to say looks like a Range Rover in the front.
Yep.
But that whole idea, that concept, I think, is selling. with a lot, but it's a longer wheelbase, which means a nicer ride, more interior space, of course. 2.5 liter turbo, Fred. That's the big block.
Yeah, that's the big one.
277 horsepower.
Yep, not
Um,
bad.
Not bad at all. That's plenty.
Yeah.
Um, an expansive lift gate, as they call it, provides a terrace-like view to the outside. I'm a big uh, stickler for outside visibility, and
Oh,
I
yeah.
know you are too.
Yeah.
Which is why we're so critical of the of the Camaro.
Yeah.
So you know, they do their homework on these things.
Very Ford Expedition like, I would say.
Yeah, yeah.
Uh, here, it's got an interesting thing that is very popular in Japan. It has a sanitizing box that you can put things in, like your phone, and do UV sterilization. And that's a very big thing in Japan, where you can stick your phone in this box and put in $1 and it will sanitize it, like at airports and things. So I guess maybe that's where that came from. Available
Great
dual
idea.
charging, which I think is good, because why should someone say, hey, I have to plug it in when you don't? And a powerful USB-C terminal with charging rate of 27 watts, which is good news for people that want to quick charge their devices. As I said, USB connections and charging connections are the new cup holders. Because of that big tailgate, they had to really locate the taillights down low, which is an interesting styling choice. I have to see this vehicle in real life, because it feels like a bunch of different elements all at one time. And I'm not sure about it, but,
It does from the side. I agree. It looks not like an afterthought, but almost like two different vehicles.
yeah, add-ons, like you added on those
Yeah.
fender flares or something, They're also going to have an XRT model, which keeps the trend of an outdoor-focused sports model tailored to
Of
the
course.
diverse needs of enthusiasts. Chrome and black trim elements, black roof rails, ready for a venture appearance. I always thought of you as that.
Well, that's what I insist on.
And 30-inch all-terrain tires, which boasts 1.5-inch of additional ground clearance and can tow 4,500 pounds. Every manufacturer seems to have one of these upfitted vehicles, don't they? And, I mean, will these ever go off-road?
No,
They
no,
like the
but
look of big tires.
that's the look. I actually have asked two neighbors, young, mid-30s, why they've bought things like this, not Hyundai. What appeals to you? Well, it just looks cool.
And-
Okay,
Well, that's a good enough reason, I guess.
I guess.
Now, when you see I saw a Telluride, a Kia Telluride the other day, and it had like the basic wheels. It looked like, I thought he had those temporary spares on it, 4 of them, and
Yeah.
and it really, now I think we're being groomed to buy big wheels and tires, because when it has the standard tires on it, I was like, what's wrong with that? It's like, did he have 4 flats and he put, and it's like, oh no, that's a standard
yeah.
Telluride.
But I want the standard tires.
Okay.
Now, there's something else going on at Kia,
Hyundai.
which is, I'm sorry, you said Kia, and that made me think of it. But with Kia, with Hyundai, they have just announced that they will begin to sell their vehicles on Amazon.
Yeah, next year. Wow.
This is the big deal. We've been, especially you, we've been predicting this for quite a while,
Well,
and I think it's going to be well received.
I'll gotta be honest. I'm doing some home improvement projects. I used to go to the big box stores, but it's too much of a hassle now. So I just say, oh, well, do they have it on Amazon if I need a tool or something like that? Like, yeah, they do.
Right.
And they got a choice of like 50,000.
Well, that's true. Now, please tell me you don't buy 5-gallon buckets of drywall compound
No,
on
no.
Amazon.
I did buy a quart of tile adhesive, though,
Oh, that's okay.
because you
I've
can't
done
get
that.
it.
Quart of
Can't
paint.
get it. Yeah. But yeah, what do you think of this? Well, how will it work? I don't know if we have much of the information, but I mean, the main thing that I like about Amazon is it's nameless and faceless. I don't have to talk to
Yep.
anyone. I don't have to hear the BS. I don't have to hear, let me check with my manager. Would you want a free
Yes,
cup of coffee? That's not free.
but aren't they going to have participating dealers?
Yes, they are.
'Cause you have to get it.
Yeah.
So I would think the larger dealers who are more capable of absorbing, different kinds of buyers, um, would go along with it. And obviously, then there's the price. I don't know how you negotiate it.
I think there's no negotiation. It is what it is, which is fine.
So Amazon will, this is it, plus taxes and title and
Yeah, that you can't get around. So, President and CEO of the Hyundai Motor Corporation, Jay Chang, said Hyundai is the first automotive company available for full end to end transactions in Amazon's U.S. store. And this is another example of how we continue to push for ways to elevate the customer journey with our outstanding retail partners. Interesting. Have you seen the Rivian EV vans, by the way, from Amazon? They're kind of cool. They're like a
yes,
segmented.
yeah,
I said to my wife I'd like to build one of them into a camper. Wouldn't that be fun?
it would be kind of neat. I mentioned this before. I see a lot of Rivians around here,
Yes.
and I saw one of those vans, and yeah, you go, oh, wait a minute, that's a Rivian.
Yeah, pretty cool.
They're very distinctive looking.
Yeah, they have the segments in them. Like, could they just add more segments on if you want to make it like
I guess.
10
Yeah.
feet longer or something? So, but this is just opening the door. I think we will see other manufacturers do this. Don't you?
I believe so. The manufacturers. I don't know about the legalities of this. I know some states you can only buy, which is ridiculous, through a dealer because the dealers have lobbied for that for decades and decades. But online just adds a whole new world, and
Yeah.
a lot of people just don't want to buy from a dealer, don't want to negotiate.
They don't want to go to a dealer. They just don't feel.
Yeah.
They feel every time you go in, it's games, smoke and mirrors and stuff. Yeah, yeah. I think I would like it. But anyway, we will find out if you like it. Let us know in the comments. What do you think about buying vehicles online at Amazon? Someone said, "Can I return it from Kohl's?" But I don't know. We'll be right back on Cruise Control.
Yes.
Cruise control.
And welcome back to Cruise Control, your on-air automotive magazine. Fred Staub and Les Jackson. Would you buy a vehicle on Amazon? I would venture a guess a local dealer in your area or close to your area, it doesn't even have to be close to your area, would handle this and would handle all the paperwork and things like that. And you would just be doing the transaction probably for a fixed price on Amazon, right?
That's right. I would certainly do it as long as there are no surprises. I don't like surprises.
No. That's one of the biggest problems about going to a dealer. You come in, let's write it up, and then all of a sudden here come these charges. Well, I had to advertise the vehicle. There's costs in business.
It's called overhead.
Yeah. Do I have to pay for the paper towels in your bathroom too? I mean,
here in Virginia, the dealers charge $900 processing fee.
Is that to write up some paperwork?
That's yeah, and a lot of people pay it. I mean, typically you can negotiate it way down.
Mm-hmm.
And they say, well, yeah, but we have to get the title and tags, and we have to send fine. Just give me the bill of sale. I'll go get them myself.
Yeah, I've done that. It's not hard at all. You do it online.
It's quite easy.
It comes in, and that's it.
Yeah.
There's no, if they don't want to do it,
we have to wash and wax the car. Fine. I've got a hose.
I told them once, don't do that because they take like the rag with the debris on it and rub it on the car, Yeah. No, don't put swirl marks in my new car. But
I'll put the swirl marks.
I'll put the swirl marks. Yeah. I just think it's not a good experience for a lot of people, and most people walk out of dealerships, and
how do you suppose Amazon handles the financing?
I don't know, but my view is don't ever finance through a dealer. Just go somewhere else because that's how they cloud the deal. What does this vehicle cost? Well, it's so much a month, but what am I paying for the vehicle and what's the finance charges?
Where they make their money though on new vehicle sales.
Yeah. But picture this. If you didn't need the dealership and the people, if you didn't need that big fancy store, you don't need I don't care about the store. Put it in a warehouse somewhere, and you don't need to educate people on the car. They should know about it already because they're listening to Cruise Control.
They listen to us.
Yeah. And they say, I know what I want. Here's I've printed out my sheet on the manufacturer's site, and I just want a price on this. And you have one in stock that I like, and that's it. I mean, that's how it should be. But, the other thing, too, I found it's common now at dealers, if the vehicle's on the lot, they put a whole bunch of crap on it that you don't want, stick-ons.
They do.
And the only way around that is say, well, I'll order it then. I don't want that stuff.
Yeah. And of course, look how people are buying and selling used cars. It's all with Carvana and a host of these online organizations. They're CarMax, of course.
Well, they really, you think about it, it should, when they say end to end, they probably are delivering it too on a flatbed.
Maybe they are. This would be just great.
Yeah. I think it is good. But let's see how it develops. I'm sure we'll be talking about it plenty more. Let's talk a little tech, shall we, Les? We're going to talk.
Let's do that.
Let's talk about Bluetooth audio in cars. Have you ever noticed some people have their phone way up and you can hear everything they're saying? I have a neighbor that does that, and I'm outside. I'm like, who's talking? It sounds like someone's talking on a PA system, and it's like she's sitting there in her car, and it's like somebody's on a speaker somewhere. So Ford, this is from CarBuzz, and their insider at the United States Patent and Trademark Office, has come up with a way of anti-eavesdropping tech. So you're standing outside someone's car and they're on the phone and they have the speaker cranked up. You won't be able to hear it. What do you think about that?
Well, I like it. Um, I would rather people be courteous enough to not be so loud when they're talking on their phones. But courtesy went away. I think it went away in a tsunami about 10 years ago.
I agree.
Um, but yeah, so how they do it, the system picks up that you're having a sensitive discussion. I don't know what that is. Measures the loudness, and then it has all kinds of. Then it checks the surroundings and it determines if somebody's within earshot and if the volume, uh, if the conversation is low enough, it doesn't do anything. But if a pedestrian comes close to the car, then a masking voice will be projected outside, like maybe a dog barking. Uh, okay, so that'll work. It's come to this, Fred.
Yeah, it's very interesting. I know they have masking. I know they have this in the White House where they project white sound onto the exterior
Oh yeah.
windows, so people can't
Hmm.
pick up vibrations in the glass and turn that into sound. So they just have basically PVC pipes blowing white sound against the glass, so that creates its own masking. Um,
Uh, Here in DC, I love driving up Wisconsin Avenue from time to time and passing the Russian embassy and looking at my phone's bars,
uh
reception bars, and they just go down, 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 down until I pass the embassy. Then they go back up.
huh.
So the embassy is blocking my ability to use the phone or to use the phone for
And I would
listening to
call
something.
that an intentional dead zone, probably.
Yeah, I'm sure they would deny it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, in conjunction with this story, they're making this technology so people can't spy on your phone calls. But interesting court case in Seattle was brought against Honda, Toyota, Volkswagen, and General Motors, and a case was also filed against Ford. But it was dismissed by a Seattle-based judge that the interception and recording of mobile phone activity by manufacturers did not meet the Washington Privacy Act standard. So what people were suing for was car companies are listening in and using data and
Hmm.
gathering data from you and doing something with it, probably selling it to
Hmm.
interested parties. And this person brought a case and said, well, that's spying. And the judge did not agree with that. So it's kind of a unique twist. And I always like to find these for cruise control. On one hand, they're like, we're going to make this technology so no one can spy on you by listening to your phone call. Oh, but by the way, we'll be listening to your phone call ourselves. Kind of
Yeah,
ironic, right?
we will use this just for our purposes, and we won't divulge it to anyone else. Okay.
Yeah, I had a press
Yeah.
car that had a whole disclaimer about that some of your data may be used to improve the quality of the vehicle or whatever. Do you think they actually listen? I've often thought my phone listens to me because I purposely would say weird things about going on a trip somewhere and then I get ads for it.
Yeah. We're going to have to start just saying things in the test vehicles when we drive them. Like, I believe the lower Johnson unit is rattling. just to, just to throw them off.
There, then it's like the Cold War, like somebody in a basement with a bunch of people with headphones on. It's like, oh, he's talking about the Johnson unit.
Uh-oh. What do you suppose the Johnson unit is?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. Who knows? We'll have to.
Yeah.
There's a lot of data mining going on, and it's interesting.
Everything you do.
Everything you do. They had talked for a while about, doing GPS ads like, hey, you drink coffee on Tuesday and you're coming up on a Dunkin' Donuts. I'll set your new destination for Dunkin' Donuts. That didn't fly, but
No.
not yet. But hey, when we come back, Right on Red, will it be going away? Stay tuned.
Cruise Control.
And welcome back to Cruise Control. Fred and I are about to discuss a subject which everyone has an interest in, and that's right turn on red. And if you have enjoyed right turn on red all these years, please savor every moment of it.
Well,
because it's going away for a lot of reasons.
I told you I have some intersections near me where it's allowed. I don't put my right turn signal on until the light changes because I wouldn't want to right on red. You can't really see people coming up,
Right.
and they're coming very quickly.
Well, they are, and that's around me too here in the D.C. area. But of course we have lots of pedestrians, none of which are looking at the vehicles at the intersection.
Right.
They're either looking at their smartphones or they're talking to each other. They're not trying to make eye contact. I always make eye contact.
Me too.
If I'm walking.
Yeah.
Anyway.
They still might hit
so-
you. They still, as you say, courtesy's gone. They still say he's in my way. I find him
Courtesy's gone.
annoying. Yeah, I felt threatened. I felt threatened by him looking
Exactly.
at me.
And cities are just getting tired of the expense of putting up no right turn on red signs.
And they're also trying to cut down on pedestrian. There's big push to cut down pedestrian injuries and fatalities.
Right. So more and more pedestrians are getting hit, seriously injured. It's just becoming the right turn on red for certainly urban areas is obsolete. It was great for a number of years, but it's just not practical or sustainable anymore. And the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration is undertaking proposed rulemaking to make it a national thing. But here's the deal, and this is Fred. I was about to tell you this off the air, but getting the people in this country to pay attention to regulations is an enormously useless, well, not useless, but frustrating problem. And the reason I say that is that it is a federal rule that you have to turn your lights on when your windshield wipers are on.
Right.
For safety.
Yeah.
For other people's safety, not yours. That rule was enacted in 1997. And I pay attention to this all the time. And easily 20-25% of the cars on the road, including police cars, don't have their lights on when it's raining.
Yeah.
So
not to get off point, but have you noticed that some people now, since the daylight running lights are so bright, they think they have their headlights on, and they're driving along. There's no taillights, so they don't have their headlights.
That's right.
But I've noticed that a lot.
Yeah, I've noticed that too.
Back to right on red, though. Basically, it started in the 70s during the energy crisis, along with the 55-mile-per-hour speed limit.
Exactly.
Remember when a lot of cars had the 85-mile-per-hour speedometer?
I had one, and I took a photograph of it with a film camera. Well, I had it pegged.
Right.
At 85, it wouldn't go any further. Just for fun.
Yeah.
But yeah. So really, it's just time for this to go away. Except in rural areas where there's just no one around. Okay.
Remember, it's optional to turn right on red. If you're at a stoplight and you have your turn signal on, you don't have to go right on red. But
you don't have to. That's
yeah.
right.
But as I said, what I do is at this certain intersections, I can think of one in particular. I will sit there as if I'm going straight, and as soon as the light turns, I will turn. I put my signal on because I don't want people blowing the horn or
That's
trying to
right.
bump the back of the car or something,
Well, the National Motorist Association study claims 96% of the injuries associated with right turns on red were minor. What about the other 4%?
Unless it happens to you, yeah.
If you're one of the 4%, you're either dead or you're permanently disabled, and just because somebody wanted to turn right on red, just get rid of it. It doesn't work in dense population areas.
I didn't know it was a federal regulation. I thought it was like local, like a local, maybe
It was
state.
federally mandated in '97, and all the states had to embrace it, or they would lose a certain
Yeah,
percentage of road
funding.
funds. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Interesting. Well, we'll see what happens. Send us a comment. Do you like Right on Red, or would you be okay with it if it went away? So you can do that on our Facebook page or Cruise Control Facebook page or our Cruise Control YouTube page. Write it in a comment on the video and see what you think. I'm kind of okay with it, I think, to go away.
Well, I'm basically okay with it, but by the way, the rule is you have to stop and then turn right.
Yeah, you don't just blow
And
through
when's
it.
the last person you've seen actually stop and turn right, as opposed to just keep driving
Right, at
at
full
20
speed.
miles an hour?
Go around.
Yeah.
Yeah. Here's an
Anyway.
interesting article, and it comes from the George Washington University. The average EV driver drives thousands of miles less than an internal combustion car owner. It's from George
Well,
Washington University. They looked at the odometer readings from 12.5 million used cars and 11.4 million used SUVs offered for sale between 2016 and 2022. They show while pure combustion powered vehicles, hybrids, and plug-in hybrids covered similar distances, an average of 11,642 miles a year, electric cars accumulated 4,477 fewer miles per year.
but wouldn't that be obvious? Because
Uh,
you buy an electric car not for trips, you buy it as a second vehicle or so on. You're going to be driving it fewer miles until such time as long ranges become commonplace.
I guess that is true. So that
Yeah.
their takeaway is people are not taking long trips in electric vehicles where they
Well,
stop
of course.
somewhere, charge it up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why that study, I mean, I could have told you the result of that study before they even announced they wanted to do the study.
A peer-reviewed study from George
Peer
Washington.
reviewed.
Yeah.
Yes. And I have done a study that absolutely proves that 86% of all skiers greatly outnumber the other 14%.
Is that peer-reviewed?
You just reviewed it.
I'm
you're
your
my
peer. I was like, if I
Yes,
read it, does that mean it's peer-reviewed? Yeah.
of course.
That's down the average amount of mileage, though, 11,642. Isn't I thought it was around
It used to
15,000.
be 15, yeah. But it isn't so much these days. I guess that's just because people don't have to travel as much.
Could COVID have skewed that number?
Oh, certainly.
Because
Certainly
it's
that
in
had
that
an
time
effect.
frame. Yeah. Yeah. Interesting stuff. Interesting stuff. I am struck by the number of used cars with tremendous mileage on them 150, 180,
Yeah.
So, hey, we hope you've enjoyed this edition of Cruise Control, your on air automotive magazine. Don't forget, check us out at our YouTube page, Cruise Control YouTube page, and our Facebook page, and more. Time for me to say I'm Fred Staub.
I am Les Jackson.
We are going to see you down the road.
Bye.